Good afternoon, everyone. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes for all the participants to join in, and then we'll start the webinar. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for another edition of IRENA Insights webinar series. My name is Karun Kocher, and I'm joining from IRENA's Innovation and Technology Center in Bonn, Germany. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, I would like you to introduce IRENA and our webinar series. IRENA is an intergovernmental organization with 169 member countries and another 15 in their accession process. We support countries in the transition to a sustainable energy future and serve as the principal platform for international cooperation, a center of excellence, and a repository of policy, technology, resource, and financial knowledge on renewable energy. And because our analytical work and our engagement with our members generates a lot of valuable insights, we are constantly looking for more ways to share those insights with you. We have organized close to 60 webinars on various topics, and you can check them all on our IRENA events website. The link to that will be in the presentation slides. We understand that there are many longer deep dive webinars out there, but our aim is to keep these webinars short and sweet, lasting approximately 30 minutes. While we cannot cover everything in this time frame, we hope to give you enough information, and more than that, the sources of more in-depth information to help you explore the topic further. Next slide, please. Today, in the next 30 minutes, we will hear from Angela Mutuzzo and Juan Jose Garcia from IRENA. They will share key insights from IRENA's National Energy Transition Planning Dashboard. But before I hand over the microphone to them, a couple of housekeeping items. The webinar will be recorded and posted on the events website along with the presentation. You are by default on mute, but we would encourage you to use the Q&A function to ask any questions. There is a dedicated Q&A section at the end of the presentation for that. And without any further ado, let me welcome our panelists to the IRENA Insights webinar series. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Karan, for the introduction, and good day to everyone. Thank you for joining us today to this new session of IRENA's Insights webinars. And today we're pleased to introduce an important online resource that is an integral part of IRENA's toolbox for energy planning support. And we're confident that this tool will significantly enhance our collective efforts in supporting energy planning globally. Today, we're pleased to introducing the Energy Planning Dashboard. And before diving deep into this online tool, I would like to provide you with some background about this initiative. And I believe that we all are aware that when planning for a clean and just energy transition, every single energy planner faces many challenges that span from integrating new technologies, for instance, to maybe aligning energy development with the social and climate goals. And of course, there are many other complex issues. And in this regard, strategic energy planning and robust energy planning frameworks are key components of efficient and effective policy and decision making. And under this context, and acknowledging the unique circumstances of every country in crafting their own national energy planning frameworks, IRENA has an extensive experience in supporting countries worldwide. And this support comes through different mechanisms. As you can see in the presentation, one of them, it comes in the form of capacity building programs to specifically support countries in creating and enhancing their institutional energy planning capacities through hands-on workshops and online trainings, and of course, in-site trainings. IRENA support also is present in the form of peer-to-peer learning and knowledge exchange facilitated mainly through the Global Long-Term Energy Scenario Network, or the Global LTS Network. That's basically IRENA's platform that fosters the exchange of experiences and best practices on energy planning among government scenario practitioners. And of course, a third pillar, or a third mechanism for supporting countries in energy planning, comes in the form of the model analysis, methodologies, and tools. And these initiatives aims to provide countries with the tools that are actually necessary to enhance their capacities, their institutional capacities on energy system modeling and scenario analysis. It's specifically in this last pillar that the energy planning dashboard fits. And we are presenting this today, more details on this energy planning dashboard. And well, as you will see later, my colleague will present it, the energy planning dashboard is basically designed to support and promote the exchange of knowledge, as it provides a comprehensive global repository of official energy planning documents that allows other energy planners to benchmark the key aspects of these documents and learn basically from their global peers. In general, this tool represents IRENA's commitments to enhancing transparency, fostering collaboration, and supporting evidence-based policymaking. Now I will hand the floor to my colleague, Angela, who will provide more details and insights into the features and the benefits of this energy planning dashboard. Over to you, Angela.
Thank you, Juan Jose. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you once more for joining this webinar. Um, during my presentation, I'll fast focus on the dashboard, so an overview of the dashboard, its objectives and benefits, and then we'll have a discussion on what our initial dashboard looked like and what the updated version will look like. So I'll first start with the dashboard objectives and benefits, and following from what my colleague Juan Jose mentioned, this dashboard has three main benefits. So the first is mainly to collate and share energy planning information. We're designing this to be a global repository of energy planning documents. And as you shall see, we currently have about we had 73 countries initially. We now have 111. We now have 73 countries featured, sorry, and we're planning to expand this and include more energy planning documents with the aim of providing a tool that can support government energy planners to benchmark national energy planning practices and approaches by their peers. And this directly fits into the peer-to-peer knowledge sharing and learning that we are promoting through this tool and through the IRENA's LTS network and energy planning program. We also hope that this tool will foster collaboration and learning among the LTS network members, IRENA stakeholders, and other IRENA member countries, but also for researchers and for everyone in the energy planning community, energy transition, anyone who's working on energy transition and wishes to gain information on what energy planning looks across the world, in different continents, in different regions and sub-regions, as I'll show. And when developing this tool, we had a clear methodology that we followed. So the first three steps, which were concluded between the end of last year and early this year, was, of course, planning for the dashboard. So we had an extensive planning stage where we had ideas on what the dashboard should look like, how to make it more interactive, and how to have a tool that someone can easily pick the information they want to download or they want to explore before having to download all the data. Then we had a dashboard design and development phase, and this was where we used, in this case, we used Power BI, where we designed the dashboard, we designed the different aspects of the tool, and then we fed the current data, the data we had, the initial data, into this new dashboard. And then we developed a strategy to update the dashboard. As I mentioned earlier, this is a global repository, so we plan on expanding the number of countries that are featured on it and the number of energy planning tools. And then the recurring phase, which is phase 4 to 6, was the data refinement and integration. And this is where we expanded the current data set that we have and refined that data. So we collected data through various surveys from LTS members and partners from IRENA countries, and also leveraged on the work of other teams, both at the IITC in Bonn and in Abu Dhabi, and used that information, that data for the dashboard. Then we implemented that information, so now had a working prototype that we tested out, and we worked with different groups on this, different teams within IRENA, and a few selected LTS members and partners also had a view of the dashboard, and we got their comments. And then we have the evaluation phase and continuous improvement, and this is where we plan on getting input from you, the user, from IRENA countries, from everyone on how useful the data is. Do we need to update the dashboard and the like? And as I mentioned, phase 4 to 6 is recurring. So we're consistently getting additional data, and as you will see, we will consistently update the dashboard as we keep expanding it, and of course implement that and evaluate. We also have a survey that you will see on the new dashboard, where a user can input their feedback, but also they can give us their questions if they have, or their comments, or share additional documents with us. And as I mentioned, that the dashboard has an update strategy. This is part of the recurring aspect to it. And to do this, we'll mainly go through two different routes. So first, working with countries and partners, so IRENA member countries, but generally all countries, so ministries of energy or the relevant line ministry, and various development partners. So currently we have, for instance, really worked closely with GIZ in their Get Transform program, and they are also an LTS partner, Long-Term Energy Scenarios Network partner institution, alongside other partners, to, for instance, update the surveys. So we have a survey that we use when updating the dashboard. So we share an updated survey with them, or ask for countries to, for instance, help us with following up to get a properly updated survey, and then validate the information that we have. Validation is done by countries, and I'll show you on the dashboard where we show the documents that have been validated by countries. We hope to have more and more documents validated by countries, but of course that takes time, and then update the dashboard. On the other hand, as I mentioned, this is not just work that's done within the LTS team or within the IITC. We work on it as a whole of IRENA, and so we work with teams where we put in periodic requests for updates based on the different work going on, and then we have colleague-led updates. So sometimes a colleague may be working closely with a country. For instance, we had a colleague from Benin, but also was working closely on a project with Benin, and was able to give us the latest electricity master plan in that case, and then would update the dashboard. So this is just an overview for you on how that process goes. And this is the initial dashboard that we launched in 2020, if I'm correct, and it featured at that time 53 countries and 73 documents. It was a first of its kind tool that we produced as IRENA, and it was useful because we had many countries giving us feedback on how they used it, but also researchers and institutions on how they've been using this tool. And here we had information on the planning documents and the institutional framework around it. So the responsible institution, the planning horizon, and then we also focused on the modeling tools used, and also the scope of the modeling scope of the planning documents. So specifically on whether the whole energy system was modeled, if there's an aspect of capacity expansion, and whether demand assessment was done. And then this last section, verified by country, I'll show you in the updated dashboard that this is the section where we tick where a country has already validated the information. So that's the tool that we had and was very useful. But then by the end of this week, we'll share with you a link to the updated version, the 2024 updated version of the tool. And here we have two distinct pages that you can navigate through. So first, the energy planning documents side, and then the modeling tools side. In the energy planning documents, we basically expanded what we had in our initial dashboard, where we still feature the planning document on the planning time horizon, but then we focus on the planning document sectoral scope, whether we focus only on the energy sector, which of course energy covers both energy and electricity, but we also included electricity because some countries for now, for instance, Bolivia, in the document that we have, a 2024 document, only focused on electricity. And then other countries have additional sectors. So additional sectors can probably cover the whole economy or just a few additional sectors. So some countries like Andorra have energy, electricity, and additional sectors. As you can see, Belgium, it's only energy sector in this document. And the like as you go through the dashboard. And then I'd like to move to the left side of the left panel where we showcase, for instance, the number of countries. This increases as we have more documents from more countries. So now we have 73 countries and 111 documents. And then we show you the latest dashboard updates. So in case someone has a newer document that they'd like to share with us, they can refer to this information and also share newer documents with us to review and include in the dashboard. One can filter by the region. So as I mentioned, when you go on the dashboard, you could choose, for instance, Central Europe, Western Europe, or East Africa, or the Caribbean countries, and the like. So you can filter by that. You can filter by country because some countries have multiple documents, and you can also select multiple countries. And then the document type, where you can review whether it's an LTS document, a long-term energy strategy document, or a LT-led document, so long-term energy, the ones used by the UNFCCC, where we plan for the long-term, for the energy transition and the reduction, emissions reduction documents, so the LT-LEDs. And then again, we have the same here where you can, this is the modeling tools section, where you can filter by the modeling tool. So you can select, for instance, sleep and see all the countries that use sleep, or all the countries that use OptGen or message. We have a number of modeling tools that we feature that you can filter by. And again, in this section, you can filter by the modeling scope, where it's the energy system, for instance, or demand assessment or power capacity expansion. So as I previously explained or previously showed, we had this initially for the first dashboard, and we have also included this. So again, as I mentioned, we have LTS documents, a long-term energy strategy documents, or LT-LEDs, which are the long-term low emissions development strategies. We feature the LT-LEDs that are scenario-based only in this section. And of course, we refer to the UNFCCC website, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change website for this. And again, as you can see under the planning documents, because this is an image, you can only see underline under the different documents. But on the dashboard, when you click on that link, it takes you to the document. So for the other documents, the LTES documents takes you to the country websites. For the LT-LEDs takes you to the UNFCCC website, so that you can get the latest document. And then, as I mentioned, we have a modeling tool. We have on the modeling page, you can click on the modeling tool key under the modeling tools column, and that modeling tool key takes you to this page, which has an explanation of the different modeling tools that are featured. And again, we have a short comment on the modeling tool, but you can also click on the link and go to the relevant website to learn more about the different tools. So this is where I'll complete my presentation on the updated dashboard that, as I mentioned, we shall have ready by the end of the week, and we shall share this via email with everyone. So thank you. I'll pass it back to Karan.
Thank you, Angela Juan Jose, for the presentation. To our audience, we encourage you to take advantage of the the Q&A feature to ask any questions or doubts you may have. I will start with one, but in the meantime, the audience can also write in their questions. Angela Juan Jose, my question is that first of all, the dashboard looks really interesting. It's a great update over the previous version to have more countries and more documents incorporated into it. My question is, how can this dashboard be used by the modeling community to improve on their work?
Thank you, Karan. Maybe I could have a go at it and then Juan Jose as well. So I will navigate back to the current dashboard on the modeling tools page. So the idea behind this for the modeling community is twofold. So first, you can be able to have a view of the different planning documents, because this is a repository where we bring together the long-term energy planning documents for the different countries. So one, they can access those documents and easily navigate to them and use that if they'd like to, for instance, review how planning is done, for instance, the same region but in a different country. And then secondly, a modeler can be able to have a quick glance on the different modeling tools used in different countries. They can also use the modeling tools select the modeling tools drop-down menu, where they can, for instance, just have a view only of countries that use LEAP or countries that use message, and then delve into that to see how these tools are used differently in the different contexts. So that's my initial response. Juan Jose.
Yes, I would also like to add that also let's say one of the main benefits of having this tool online is that the energy planning community basically can have access to a transparent tool to benchmark how the neighboring countries are actually including in their energy planning documents. For instance, what are the main hypotheses they are considering for reaching net zero, for instance, or for example, how they are integrating other sectors in their national energy planning documents. I mean, or also to benchmark what different modeling tools they are using for instance, whether it's for the expansion of the power sector or for modeling the whole economy. So I think, this facilitates basically the exchange of knowledge among neighbor countries, but not only in this regional area, but also in the context of, I don't know, maybe if one Latin American country can learn from the experiences from an African country or in Asia, for instance. So, and this is the idea behind this, to keep expanding this tool and incorporate more and more countries and planning document.
Okay, that's a good response. Thank you both. The next question that we've received, maybe I'll also try and answer it myself, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, or if you want to add anything to it. The question that we've received is that these countries mainly focus on supply side challenges and the scenarios that are based on the clean energy transition. But it is also important to highlight demand side measures and energy efficiency measures. So for the person asks that, can we get this information from the dashboard? I am assuming these demand side measures are already included in the assessment, but if you would like to add anything to this part.
Sure. Yeah, of course. And this is the idea of this tool. This is a live tool, and it keeps evolving. And of course, the main information we have included in the tool per se, as you can see, are like the key aspects that we take from the document. And of course, as Angela mentioned, the users have the possibility to click in every single planning documents and explore what is in that document. And of course, some planning documents, of course, include demand side measures, of course, but maybe some other not. And that's part of the richness of this tool. Maybe one country that is looking for this have the opportunity to access to the full document and planning documents from another country and explore what has been included in it.
Okay, that's a good good answer. Thank you, Juan Jose. And these documents are also utilized when countries submit their NDCs to the UNFCCC. Is that how it works?
So for this, it depends because we normally we get the documents from the countries, or we get from the different websites. And then in the document, they indicate whether they refer or use this when submitting their NDCs. So we get that
Okay.
information because we have to review the documents, or we sometimes also review the NDCs, but also the LT-LEDs, and see whether the same document has been referenced in those. And for this, we're relying on work that's also done within the energy planning team, because we have an update to the LTS, LT-LEDs report that we did last year. So this is also tied into ongoing work by IRENA.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you, Angela and Juan Jose. I think this is it for the questions. I don't see any open questions on my screen right now. I would like to. Sorry, please go ahead.
If I could highlight, I already answered some questions in the chat, but I'd like just to say this for everyone. So the first question was on how to access whether you can export data from the table, and eventually we will have a link on the web page which can allow users to download some of the information. But in the meantime, when you click on a link, you go directly to the document. So that's to the document from the different websites. That's the first thing. And then the second question was on whether how to access the information. We'll share a link to the webpage for that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Angela. I see a few hands up, but I think we have reached our time for today. Again, I would like to thank Angela and Juan Jose for the time and for sharing the knowledge and insights on this dashboard. We really hope to see this up soon. And I would also like to thank all the audience for joining us today and for your time and attention. We hope you learned something today. Like I said earlier, the recording and the slides will be posted on the IRENA events page for those who missed any part of the webinar or would like to revisit it again. I wish you a great rest of the day, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you.